Alright, what's up, what's up? Just gotta slide with it, slide with it. Alright, this is alertwolf here. Sorry about the close-up. Bringing you another anime review. This time, I'm bringing you BTOOOM Episode 3. And, basically, what happens in this one is, it starts with, where Episode 2 and 1 ended. Which is, Sakamoto. See, I got a cheat here, still getting to know their name. Sakamoto and Himiko meet up, by the waterfall. And she is, scared, and she runs off. And, so she's scared, she runs off, and basically, he starts to chase her. Because she has the food, and he figures if he could just talk to her, maybe get some food and he wouldn't starve. So he goes after her. Basically, she starts to get away. He mentally uses his radar to try to track her. The ping but she starts hauling ass though. And the ping he does get is slow and not moving, so he figures maybe she's hiding. So he goes, and this dude was taking his shit. You know, he's like, ha ha, and he falls down, he steps on his own shit, man. He was, I'm sorry, it was funny. Now, this dude, let me just get his name here, right, is, Taira, right? I have trouble pronouncing his name. And, they start talking, and now most of this episode is just an explanation of the story, which is fine because up until now we've had to guess our way along with the main character, and so that they go off to the river. He goes to clean his shoes. He goes, "Oh, you don't have your memory. Oh, so you have no idea what's going on here." And he's like, nah, not at all. He's like, maybe it's better that if you don't remember. And he's like, no, I want to know. So he proceeds to tell him what happened on the plane, which is basically they were herded up in a cargo plane. They already had the jewels on the wrist. There's a TV screen with some fat dude acting like this was a game show, talking about the game they're going to be in, explaining the bombs. And he's like, yeah, the guy talked like that. And one guy went to act up, and he got tasered and knocked out. And you see a lot of men and women on the plane, children, really doesn't matter, all walks of life. You see some characters we've already seen before. Obviously his chick is there, and some of the players that are already dead are there. And so Sakamoto is on the plane, and he goes and yells at the guy on the screen. He's like, "Aren't you taking this too far? You can't tell the difference between a game and a reality anymore." And Taira, right? Taira is like, yeah, you sounded like you knew the guy, and you were yelling at somebody you knew. That was before, and you were the only one who said what we were all thinking. Because you showed no fear to the guys with the tasers, but eventually you were beat up and tased. And he was kind of like tased in the head, and he's like, And when he said that, he tried to remember, caused him pain. He's like, you want me to keep going? He's like, yeah, keep going. So basically, they explained some things, and they parachuted in. And right when they were done so he's like, so that's what happened. And then you find out, then you have Taira. He wants to team up with Sakamoto, and he's like, let's team up. It's safer with two of us. But then he starts to think about it, because one of the conditions of the game was that was explained was that they had the jewel, and they needed the jewel only pops off when you kill somebody, when their heart stops. So they need 8 jewels in order to survive the game. And so each person has to kill 8 people in order to live. And he had already killed 1. So that's what's going on. And so he's thinking, he's like, I don't know if I could do this. Or 7 people. They have to kill 7 people. And he's like, I don't know if I could do this 6 more times. And now I would have to do it like 14 more times. You know, it's twice the number. I don't know if I could do that. And he's having a debate of conscience, but he's like, and he asked the guy a question. He's like, well, what do you say about this? And the fact that we would have to kill double the people. And he's like, I don't want to participate in the game. I say, let's find a way off this island. Let's do something. I don't want to play. And in his head, he's going, oh man, this guy's too naive. He doesn't understand what's going on here. Not that he understands it any better. But he goes, sure. You know, he thinks about it. He's like, yeah. Sakamoto's like, Taira, you know, I'll consider teaming with you. I just want to see what's in your bag. I want to see what type of bombs you have and how many you have left. And he stops, and his demeanor changes, because this guy's a big, fat, jovial dude. He was a real estate agent. Not that that's important. But he's like, nah. He's like, this is my only trump card. I wouldn't be able to trust you. And I see you have 2 bags already. And, you know, the kid, and then Sakamoto starts thinking, he's like, man, you know, he pretends to be a dumbass, but this guy is intelligent. He's thinking things through. He goes, you know what? All right, I like this guy. He's like, you won. I'm going to team up with you. He's like, all right, yeah. And so, just at that moment, the plane came by overhead and started dropping off the care packages full of the food. And so he's like, I think the one came yesterday. And, you know, Sakamoto realizes maybe that's where the food came from. So, since they're both starving and none of them have really eaten anything, they both head off to the closest parachute drop point. Now, Sakamoto gets there first, and he's almost gonna make it. They show you Himiko, like, but she's not really paying attention to it, making you think like maybe Himiko was gonna get there. But this other chick gets there first and beats him. And then there's another. She grabs the case, and I'm not sure if she had stepped on this grenade or it went off because of her proximity. I think it went off because of her proximity. I didn't see her step on it. So, and it wasn't a timed grenade because those are the square cubes. This one was a rounded black cube. So I think this was a proximity grenade. And when she was near it, the proximity blade explodes, killing her, and you know, and leaving the thing. And he watches, and this other guy comes up, grabs her arm, takes out the jewel, and he's like, don't hate me for this. And I guess he's one of these main characters, maybe one of these main, I wouldn't call them villains, but main, you know, maybe main, just one of these main characters, because he looks cool, he has the tattoos, he has the cool long hair, you know, and he looks like a main dude, right? And it's too soon to tell if he's going to be a good guy or a bad guy, but he did mine the place. So, and really, they're not, you know, some are more psychotic than others, but there's really no good or bad, it's just survival. But anyway, so he grabs the suitcase, the jewel, and he walks away. And now Sakamoto's all shook up, because that could have been him. If he made it there 30 seconds sooner, it would have been him. And he's like, and finally, our fat boy, Taira, or, right, again, I am butchering this guy's name. I am sorry. Again, if he lives long enough, sorry, move this way, but if he lives long enough, I will get to know his name. Excuse me, I'm just gonna move something out of my way here. But, it is too soon for me to tell whether or not he's how long he's gonna last. But, alright, and then he's like, listen, man, they noticed another package. He's like, there's another one there, but that one could be mine too, and it's not worth it. And Taira's like, no, man, food is food. We don't know when we're going to eat again. It's time to go. We got to go get it. He goes, and he's like, yeah, I guess you're right. And he's like, we're going to run there. He's like, what? You're going to run? And he's like, what, man? You know, I may be a fat dude, but I used to run track. I'm in shape. What? He goes, I might be a little slower since I put on like 20 pounds. And he finally gets, you know, Sakamoto will laugh a little. And he's like, yeah, man. it's all about, you know, it's all about survival and doing what we can. So that they end up going down, they run down the hill, and that's seemingly the end of the episode. Then the credits roll, you know, and then before you get the preview for next week's episode, they get to where the package is, and there's an extra scene. So I don't know if you, sometimes people don't like to see previews and they skip the extra scene, or they skip the preview, so they, you know, they cut it off at the credits. But if you didn't do that, basically there was an extra scene, and the extra scene is they arrive at where the food is, and they see a little boy who's seemingly another main character, because again, both the other guy who killed somebody and this little boy, you could see them in like the opening credits. So obviously they're important. So this little boy, he's covered in blood. There's a body on the floor next to him, and you get the feeling this kid is fucking crazy, because he has that deranged, like, I'll kill you too, bitch. I'll kill you too, and love it. He had that look on his face, and they're like, what the fuck? And that's how the episode ends. All in all, I say this was a good episode. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. It wasn't one of the better episodes. I mean, it wasn't better than the first 2 episodes, but it's a much needed story episode, because again, this whole time we haven't gotten any story. We haven't, you know, action has progressed, and we've guessed with the characters on what's going on. And you know, again, the first 2 episodes, we got backstory, but this is more than backstory. This is more than each character's backstory. We start to get some dynamic into the game and the game setup. Like I didn't mention this, but you know, Sakamoto's thinking if he knew the guy, because he still can't remember it, then he must have been someone with the game, you know, and that means the game's responsible for this, the people behind BTOOOM. And he's like, and that's throwing, because now he's starting to figure shit out, you know. And I like that. So I think this episode was necessary. There was still action. People still died. We still got to see a brand new bomb, which I still think may be a proximity bomb, but we have to see it again to fully appreciate what it does. And the next episode looks like it's going to be right back to action-packed and crazy and ridiculous. So again, you know, let me just wrap this video up. It's... Again, I like the series, and not every episode can be chock full of action, but I rate this episode a 3 out of 5, and I'm saying click it up if you like it, like this video, subscribe if you can, comment if you must. This is alertwolf signing out.